Hey, it's me again, Miss Lisa, the sewing lady of Pinellas Park, Florida, USA. Another day of doing our thing sewing. As you can see, we have Leroy in the chair. She thinks she can sit in Mama's throne. We'll have to change that. And of course, we have Mr. Xavier, who's always in the picture because he's a ham. Yeah, and as always, stepping on everything that might be important. Now, David's going to swing in here and show you two pictures. You're going to see blue dress. And I posted that I did one dress in hand sewing. Actually, I've done several, but this is the only one I can show a picture of. I had a better picture, but don't know where it went. These were the best. Now that dress had the pearl buttons down the back. It had a full skirt on it, so yeah, a lot of gathering, and it was all done by hand. No sewing machine. Every inch of it is hand sewn. Now, for those of you who want to know how that's done, I kind of set up something for you. Now, when you're first trying this, you might want to put it in a hoop. That's for the people who need to have that tension, because the biggest problem you have doing this is the fabric doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and it gets all scrunchy and you get that really pinched look. Now what you do, and I made this with big thick thread so everybody can see it, in bright green too. Hard to believe I could find this stuff. What you do is on here, okay, sorry there, I started a few, and yes, Miss Lisa's got to take glasses off for this one because it's close work. What I did was I brought my needle down through and at where the other stitch was, and then I came forward, and I'll leave a space there because I'm going to come back and I'm going to stitch it. And of course the thread wants to knot up, you know, that's a normal thing. When you're doing this kind of work, you're going to want to do the waxing the threads. And if you're not aware of waxing thread, well, it's not big deal. It's just you dry your thread through some wax, or you buy one of those little wax things at the store. And if you dry your thread through it, it keeps it from separating and knotting up. Okay, so you keep on going backwards to the last stitch you started, and then you come forward, and as you see, I'm coming up, I'm leaving a stitch width there. Now I like doing it this way because you get a nice tight stitch, and doing that other way where you just go in and out, in and out, in and out, leaves a funky seam. Everybody can tell you did it by hand. With mine, they can't tell. And believe me, this is a strong seam stitch. When you do it, you can't see that you had done it by hand. And if David can get a picture close enough, I'm hoping you can see what the back looks like, which isn't a nasty looking thing either. As long as you keep it all straight, it looks really good. And here, take a peek at that. See how they are? They look really nice. They almost look like a sewing machine. Now when you're doing it by hand, when you first do it, use a hoop. When you get comfortable with it, you'll know about not pulling it too tight, which will cause it to bunch up and will kind of ruin your stitching. And guess what? You'll be taking it back out. And it's a tough one to take back out. But really important to learn that stuff. I really wish I had a better picture of that dress because it was gorgeous. And it was T length, which you know is like about as long as my dress. and it was very, very gorgeous. And that was for my second wedding, so yeah, now you know. And as you can tell, it's a Cat Haven day. Everybody wants to be in the shot, and they all want to make sure there's fur on here. And if you all have cats, sewing is their favorite thing to do. They will hold it down for you, and they'll lay on it. They'll prevent you from doing sewing sometimes, but today we're going to have to push them off so you guys can finish up this portion of our stuff. Now, if everybody has put their dress on and tried it on, they should have a good idea of where they want to have it. If you wanted a little wide, you made it a little wide. If you wanted it narrower, you brought it in until you could get it on over your head. Now, the one part we didn't get to was the back seam. Now, Annie pinned this for me, and she did a pretty good job. It's just she didn't pin it, you know, so I could sew it. So, the interesting thing is my seam is where this is. So, I'm just going to flip it over. See, all this kitty help. Boy, I don't know what I'd do without them. Yeah, those pins gotta go, little girl. You think it might, exit? No? Like I said, they're gonna help. And Mr. Ham, he has to be showing up there. Leroy's finally getting in on the gig. She wants to be seen. Aren't we lucky? Alright, kitties. Mama's got to pin this together. And mine is going to be a really wide seam. And why did I do that? If you get a little bit bigger in the back, you know what I mean. Alright, Leroy, thank you. She went over to sit on Jeff's lap. He's sitting over there, and she wants all the attention that it's possible for a kitty to have. And yes, you hear her in the background. She's one lucky kitty. She has been well loved, and believe it or not, she is 17 years old. I mean, that's pretty good. But the breed she is the Maine Coon. And Maine Coons can live a long time. They actually have one out there that lived to be 35. That's amazing. Normally, they're here for maybe 25 years. So, both these guys, Maine Coons, different versions. It's obviously, you can see, one is long hair and one's short. But, yep. Gonna have them a while. And they're both the healthiest thing I've ever seen. You know, the worst they've had is bad tummy aches. Of which, $400. Get that. Yeah. Yeah, now it's, you know, give her a week. And if she's not eating by then, you know, it's like give her Pepto-Bismol or something is what I feel like. But I think the last time it was Kitty Maalox. So, go figure, kitties. She is also very spoiled. Well, she wants to be in this picture no matter what. And you know, she's the shy one. Yeah, believe it or not, shy kitty. Oh, leaping lizards. Huh? We got a good rainstorm going on outside, so if you hear that noise behind us, that's what it is. Alright, finally pinned it. Yep, I know, I'm slowpoke. Okay, when you look at mine, you can see that this is going to fit me real nice. I'm not going to have too long of a front which, you know, the girls can come out, but not for the regular folk, if you know what I mean. And as far as the back goes, it's really high, but I like it a little higher. Unless I'm doing something that's a real fashion piece, I might lower the back. One day you will see some of my designs. Alright, when you look at this, you're like, oh wow, she does not have straight seams. So true, so true. But a lot of this is, some of it's shaping, some of it's, okay, I'm not the straightest sewer, you'll know. So everybody who hasn't done it so far is going to stitch up their back seam. For me, I'm lucky. I have a little line to follow. No problem there. I'm not going to sew it right now because I think you guys know how to do this part. But I am going to point out that this is where, if it doesn't fit, you have all this room to back up a little bit, stitch a little bit further over, or figure out where you need the space. It's just one of those things of fitting your dress. Most of us either have it way in the front or way in the back for where the big parts are. So if you've got the big parts in the back, this is the seam you're going to let out. This is your croquis. It's what they call them, and what it does is it gives you a basis for what you want to use in sizes for your clothing. When you make this, you never ever cut it up. You keep it. It's a pattern. You do all the changes on here because it is a master pattern. You can learn a lot of things using this pattern. You can also, which we're going to get into next time, how to make darts. If you like it really tight to you like this, you put a dart in. Or if you like a little bit more up in here, you put a dart in like my dress has. You can do so many things just off of what we've made. The next time we work on this, we're not only going to do darts, but we're also going to look at, well, what do you do with the neckline and the armholes? There's many choices on that. I'll show you two of my favorites. One is cutting a facing, and the other one is using good old bias tape. I love bias tape. You can make it from your fabric, or you can buy it, doesn't matter. And I do a thing where I roll it on the inside, and unless people are really looking close, they're not going to see it. And you'll have a really nice finished edge. So that's where we are on this. I'm not going to have as long of a show today because Miss Lisa's back is killing her. Too much standing is most of it. And the other thing is I have some kitty problems here, as you may have noticed. Everybody wants my attention, and they're doing all sorts of things to get it. Hey, this is the second part of this video. Yeah, you probably noticed I'm not wearing the same dress. I wasn't feeling so good, and we thought we were just going to cut there, and then I thought, well, why can't we just add a piece? And I wanted to also show you something. When you're getting older, you'll know your memory's not as good as you think it is. I'm going to show you a picture. Now, this is my daughter who died a few years ago, and this is her when she was a baby. This dress was hand stitched from A to Z. Why? At the time I was bored out of my skull and I didn't have a sewing machine that worked. So this is all hand sewn, and here is her picture. She was a cutie as a baby. And the fabric that we used actually was JCPenney's Best bed sheets. And I made quite a few dresses out of this. And she wore this style dress until she was like 5 years old. So got my money's worth out of those sheets, and would believe it or not, here we are all these years later. I still have a lot of that fabric left. So don't doubt me when I tell you, I've done it all by hand. And anybody can do it. You get a rhythm, you can go pretty fast. Not as fast as a sewing machine, but imagine very fast embroidery. That's about what it is. But just think about that. Now, as you can see, we have our helpers back, and they're blocking the view of what I did, because I finished up my particular croquis for me. Now, even though they're having their little moment here, I'm just going to see if we'll move. Yeah, Leroy, you move better than anybody. When I stitched up the back, I left an opening, because you're going to need one if you want to get in and out of it. And for most of you, I'm going to bet this is all you need to do to make your first dress. We'll get into all the extra items you need as we go along. But for our dress, see, that's approximately the way my dresses are. I know, looks kind of huge, doesn't it? Well, once I sew them, they don't look quite as big, because my seams are a little bigger. I probably will do a couple of things to my pattern, because I'm still looking at the pattern from before the hospital, and yeah, I lost enough that it's a little big. So eventually Annie's going to have to come and pin me in again. But this is the basic shots. Now, when we come back for next week's, we're going to be looking at putting darts in up and down. Side darts, whole different gig. Up and down darts, front and back. We'll tuck it back in so it fits closer. We'll also be looking at facings. Facings is so you don't have the raggy edge. And some people will just turn this over, roll it, and you know what? Chances are going to make it look homemade. So we're going to show you how to make it look not homemade, but nice. It's cleaning time in Kittyland, as you can see. And they have been like white on rice to me for the last 2 weeks. Either I'm getting sick or something's going to happen. I believe cats know before you or I do, so just keep that in mind if I miss a show. Hand sewing for the rest of the items will be worked in as I go, because I want you to know how to do a buttonhole. I want you to know how to make a button with a little attached string on there so you have the loop and button. I want you to know how to put a snap in correctly. You don't know how many people don't do it right, and they're gone, and right at the wrong moment. Eventually, I'll even show you some couture things, like how to do all those little buttons down the back of the dress. There's an easy way for that too. You're going to learn about bias tape. Bias tape is like the most wonderful thing when you're making a simple dress. I will teach you how to make one and show you the bought kind and how the best way to use it. I want you to see all the things, and as you can tell, yes, the sewing table here is a mess. This is actually what it normally looks like. So it's got stuff thrown on it. Rarely is there not a cat on it. Computer's always here too. If it was absolutely clean, it would mean my imagination ran out and I don't have anything to do. So be happy it's messy for me, okay? Because when it gets too clean, yeah, I'm not doing stuff. And I'm not doing good then. So, we'll go with that. But, that's all I really wanted to add to this. I know it's not a long bit or anything, but I just wanted you to know that's what was next. And I wanted you to see at least one more garment that I did by hand. Pictures are hard to find because I lost a lot of them in a fire. And of course the one that has the full blue dress of mine is from that group. So, life goes on. Alright. I want you to remember to like, to subscribe, which is free, and no thing there. Hit the bells for notifications, and always remember, this was freely given to me, and I freely give it to you. Thank you.